Let's see, we left off just before starting the 8th chapter, where our protagonist had finished up some of her previous lessons with, or some of her first lessons with Siddh, who is secretly Shiva, divine consciousness incarnate on earth. And she is, in fact, the Divine Mother, who is yet to remember her true identity. May this reading relax your mind and awaken your heart. Diving right into it. I stretched out my bed and stared at a lizard glued to the rough concrete ceiling, plotting its next move. Pots and space. Pot space. The space in a small round pot is not born of the great space around it. Similarly, I, an individual, am not born of absolute consciousness, called Brahman in Sanskrit. When the pot is smashed, the pot space appears to merge into space, although it was never cut off from space. With the destruction of my body, I, the individual, do not merge into Brahman. I was always one with Brahman. The contents of the pot, dirt, smoke, fluids, do not affect the space within it. Consciousness associated with the characteristics of my body, mind and senses, merits, demerits, ideas, concepts, does not take on these characteristics. I am always perfect. The shape of the pot, round, tall, wide, is not the shape of the space within it. The characteristics of my body, mind, and senses do not define who I am. Hello, Talon. There is no such thing as pot space and great space. Both are one. I am not a part of the Absolute. I am one with the Absolute. The lizard was making its way jaggedly toward an unsuspecting tiny black dot. Nothing stands still. All is movement. All is change. I rose. I had had enough of the dialogues, of the teachings, of the chapati and lentil soup dinners, of the lack of a proper mattress and hot water for a proper bath. This is my last day, Siddh, I said at breakfast. Let's lunch at a luxury resort up in the mountains, patronized by sheiks and movie stars. Jatayu mentioned it. My treat, I hastily added, to repay you for your kindness in teaching me. I'm also leaving a donation. Thank you, Finding Bliss. Surprisingly, he agreed, and in a few hours we were at the river's edge waiting for Jatayu, who had been summoned. 2 armchairs had been placed on the lawn for us. We were the Pukka Saab and Mem Saab. I was in a raw silk pink kameez and matching chudidhar, also purchases from the hotel boutique in Delhi. And he was in a Natalie tailored tan summer suit and pale blue cambric shirt open at the collar. Happy birthday, Rahina. You missed the concert yesterday, I said. Your friend Hari was there. Hari is everywhere, he said. He stood, picked up a petal from one of the flower beds, and was about to skim it across the water, when 2 ladies in showy silk saris determinedly marched past us. Damu, whom I now recognized as the afternoon tea boy, hurried after them, hugging a pile of towels. The women threw off their sandals, and with high-pitched shrieks and giggles submerged themselves in the river. When I was a boy, I had Damu's job, Siddh said, smiling. But when Guruji, who ran the place, noticed my utter enjoyment of the sight of soaking wet women, I was banished to the kitchen duties. Did you grow up here? I asked quickly. Here and there, he answered vaguely, then turned to me, suddenly serious. The teachings might seem obscure to you and hard to absorb. Good practice is to continually ask yourself the question, what am I doing now? You will find... I grabbed his hand. What are we doing now? I said. We are immersing ourselves. No, this is my last clean shirt. Besides, the car is waiting. Come on, I said. No excuses. Immersion in this river will get us directly to heaven. That's what Jatayu said. God in liquid form, right? No need for all this study. The scriptures. Fine, he said, but we should change first. These women were in their Sunday best. It's what's done. I pulled him forward. He bent down to unlace his brown Oxfords. Nice shoes, I remarked, shaking off my silver sandals. Wouldn't want to get them wet. No, I wouldn't, but more to the point, I could get lynched if I stepped into the river with shoes on. We waded in. The icy water surrounded me with a surprising stillness. I stayed down as long as I could, then emerged shivering to find Sid remonstrating with Damu. Sid threw a tablecloth at me, while Damu eyed me appreciatively. The suit is ruined, Sid muttered. What about my hair? I moaned. My carefully coiffed hairdo was in knotty clumps, and Jatayu was on the terrace, watching us impassively. Oh good, Marcy's here. You stick around for your own show and tell. Anyway, we left the tight winding lanes of the city behind and ascended forested hills through hairpin bends along precipitous cliffs until we reached the walled fortress of the Maharaja's palace. Jatayu and the car remained outside the gates while we were bundled off in a gaily tasseled golf cart. Vast, manicured lawns with a profusion of flower beds in bloom stretched out on either side of the narrow road that led to the Palace Cum Spa complex. As we curved around a bosque of conifers, I spotted a man in the distance who stood still in the midst of several peacocks. That's Muthu, I thought, Miss Nandi's nephew, who was her Sanskrit teacher. But the man could hardly be Muthu. How could he? I was tempted to stop the cart and call out, but decided that after my confusion about the two boys, it was far better to keep mum. I did not want to be accused of the foreigner's myopia, of not being able to distinguish one native from another. The hotel restaurant, a disapproving Matre de Laide, or Matre de, I don't know how to pronounce this French. I'm pronouncing a lot of French names recently. M-A-I with a hat on it, T-R-D space D apostrophe, led us to a table in an isolated corner of a spacious terrace, our appearance having been considerably diminished by our plunge into the river. I was in baggy pants and a baggy shirt that I had put aside to wear on my return journey, and my wet hair was pulled back into a tight ponytail. Sid was in jeans, t-shirt, and sneakers. From the cantilevered terrace, we could just make out the river, a silvery crack. That river took a great deal of effort to come down, he said cheerlessly. Is the river dying? I asked. It is not a river anymore, he said. In what way? I asked. The Ganga is a large construct, dammed, diverted, and supporting over 300 million people. They worship her, then defecate on her. Factories line the banks. One drain pipe alone spews out 10 million gallons of raw sewage every day. The glacier that feeds it is melting at a tremendous rate, and unless the monsoons are heavy every year, which is unlikely, no more river. Do people know the river is dying? I asked. They know, but it's easier to pretend not to know. A pale green bird settled on our table for a moment, then flew away. A greenfinch, he laughed. The bird delighted him, bringing him back to me. There is a parable of two birds, he said, in the Mundaka Upanishad. Two birds, always together, cling to a tree. One pecks at the fruit, and the other looks on without eating. The two birds represent the individual self and the divine, eternal self. Both have a common origin, and both are associated with the world symbolized by the tree. The individual self clings to the world, unaware. The divine self experiences and masters the world through self-awareness. That divine self is that absolute reality, Brahman. It was pleasant to converse quietly, in this vein surrounded by the great mountains with the sacred river in our sights, in this perfectly designed fat farm for the rich. We were attended by 3 or 4 young girls and boys who catered to our every whim that included sending Jatayu his lunch. I wondered where these children lived, for that was what they were, children. There were no villages or towns for miles, probably in some dark dormitory on the premises, well hidden from view. They were the lucky ones. We were alone on the terrace. The movie star and her entourage, the sheiks and their wives and attendants, and the oligarchs had all left. I looked at my watch. I would be home by midnight. Home. Let's get a room, I said. He sat transfixed, and I went in search of a manager. I reserved a suite. I informed Jatayu that we would remain here a little longer, and I rescheduled my flight. Is there a shop on the premises? I asked the manager. Yes, madame. Come this way. I need a toothbrush, toothpaste, soap, I blurted to the stunning salesgirl at the well-appointed spa boutique. Madame, no problem, she said. All such toiletries are in the room only. Everything you will find. Oils for massage, shampoos, all you will find. No need for our guests to bring. I need clothes. I see some. No need, madame. We are providing. Room has pajama kurta sets, madame. What size, madame? Medium long? 5 sets we will keep in room. We replace every day. For the gentlemen? I asked. Yes, madame. Give me 5 minutes. She is going to share a room with her guru. No. We'll pause our reading there. And remember that this story takes place on many levels at once. She is actually the Divine Mother, consort of Siddh, the Divine Father. They are meant to be together. We'll pause our reading there for now on such a intimate cliffhanger to see what happens. But for now, I thank you for reading, and I look forward to continuing where we leave off now next time.